All right. What's going to make Logan's take at the end of the show a little bit more interesting is that Miami got a bit of a dig this week on a decommit. Nyjalik Kelly,
Yeah.
Strong side defensive end, 11th rated in the country, top 200 player. Jason.
This one, we kind of, I don't want to say we saw it coming, but it's not all that much of a shocker. Nyjalik Kelly, he became a four-star defensive end out of Fort Lauderdale Dillard High School. It's not a high school Florida State has recruited heavily in the past, and since becoming a four-star, Florida's been all over him. Miami's been all over him. And then Miami has their spring game this week. Unfortunately, I do have to agree with Mr. HD. I do believe he is going to go to Miami. It is kind of an interesting thing how all of a sudden Miami doesn't really care about him, and then all of a sudden he becomes four-star, and all of a sudden they start sweating him. So, you know what? High school kids, they're going to make their decisions they're going to make. It's not a total loss if we can get Marvin Jones. And one of the viewers asked earlier, who is Florida State going to look at to replace him? I think Florida State is putting all of their chips in the Marvin Jones Jr. basket. I feel like he has his date set. I feel like he knows, we know he's going to be coming November 13th. That's gonna be the big one right there. I think if Florida State can get Marvin Jones Jr., everyone else can go away, just like Mr. HD can go away too.
What's funny with the decommit is that, and with some of the other things that have happened, like you see McAdoo decommitted, a 2023 kid decommitted. You were like, you would really think that the class is in shambles. And I had to go and look on the 247 team rankings. Like, call me crazy, we still have a top 10 class. With that does hurt because you don't have the depth across the D line. My major thing has always been if Mike goes out and can get to 7 to 8 wins, all this is for naught. The one that would make me really hurt my feelings would be Travis Hunter. And as long as Travis Hunter, we straight. I'm good. And I don't see that decommitment happening from anybody else. And I think there's another one that's going to be coming soon as far as commits go. But you're talking about Bama, you're talking about top kids. Like even Kelly is the rule that he talked to an SEC coach, and SEC coach said if you don't play here, then he called him out on it. So I wouldn't even be necessarily ready to jump to him going to a rival per se, as opposed to getting a chance to see Georgia coming at him hard, to see other schools coming at him hard. And, you haven't been able to see anything in a year and a half. So, hey, see what the world's there. But the cool thing about right now and these kids not being able to go anywhere for a year and a half is that people haven't seen these kids in a year and a half. There's a D tackle that Florida State is kind of jumping in hard on. That fifth quarter is going to drop an article about that at the last time he was seen by anybody, he was 265 pounds. He's 320 pounds. It's a lot of COVID. But when you see him, he's 320 pounds of grown man right now. So there's probably other defensive ends, just like Kelly was a 3-star, and then people started watching his film and started seeing him, and he moved more like a 4-star. We're going to see more kids come to these camps. We're going to see more kids that are going to be showcased. And now you have the opportunity to probably go find guys. If ever before there was a 3-star that probably should have been a 4-star that you go for, this would be the classification. I mean, this would be the class for it because, it's a lot of things out there. But Kelly definitely hurts, if you lose another kid. But right now, Florida State's been overachieving on the recruiting front. So, stuff happens. That's why I tell fans just to chill out on the trolling part when it comes to recruiting, because if you haven't been a 16 to 18-year-old in a long time, just know a lot of things going through their minds right now. Girls, final exams, pizza, trying to figure out how they're going to get fed. The favorite food, favorite girl, favorite music, favorite school, all changes by who gives them the most attention.
But, James, you know that the Miami idiots in here are just trolling because they're like, oh, we had a great spring game. Our offense looked great, but your defense looked like crap. So that's why. Let's just be honest. You're going to get your butts kicked by Alabama. But let's move it to Logan for a second because, Logan, here's a question. Looking on that recruiting side, who will Florida State look at now more on that defensive line, defensive end, kind of that linebacker spot? Who is Florida State going to try to bring in? Obviously, we all know Marvin Jones Jr. He's the big name. But who else is Florida State looking at in the 2022 class?
That's a great question, Jason, because James brought up finals, and that's exactly what my mind has been at this whole week. So I haven't been able to look at any other options recruiting-wise for defensive line, defensive ends. I'm not even a recruiting expert. I just hear whatever is told, given to me. I wouldn't know of any other names that Florida State's looking at. There is definitely a lot of talent that's available, but I don't have any specific names except for Marvin Jones Jr., who I think Florida State's in the lead for.
You can lie to Mark. You can lie to the Miami fans on here because none of them even graduated from high school. You can lie to everyone else. James and I we went to Florida State. We know that your exams don't matter. It's fine. We know you're lying. We know you've been drunk at bowling. We get it. We understand.
It is true. The exams, I'm taking my last one after this, and then I'm done with this semester. I'm completely done. We're going to finish off fine, but haven't had much of any time to do much this week, really FSU related, because what comes first is always school, Jason. I want to become an alumni. I want to be able to have an alumni tag on the back of my car. That's been a dream of mine since coming out of becoming out of birth, and that's just something I'm going to stay focused on right now, Jason.
The first shout out of the night goes to Logan's parents, who are apparently watching this to make sure that Logan is maintaining his education. So shout out to Logan's parents for actually watching tonight's show. So that crap Logan just threw out there to us.
We get Falcon ERX kicking in with the Super Chat contribution here. Florida State, Dora the Explorer backpack is handy for FSU players to hit the transfer portal.
I liked it. I liked the backpack. It was good. It was different.
I was notice. I think a lot. I was going to mention too, real quick, for what I was told, recruiting wise, and the recruits all in the group chat. He randomly left. Talking about Kelly, he randomly left the group chat. Sam McCall and Travis Hunter were in complete shock. They had no idea this was coming. There was no hint given to them. Kelly wasn't in contact with them, and Sean McCall was pretty hurt about the decommitment. But that also goes to show how invested, at least for right now, McCall is into this class, because a lot of people think that the 5-star recruit McCall is not really that invested, just committed out, and he's still going to look at maybe Alabama might be still a leader there, even though he's committed to Florida State. It just goes to show how this decommitment was kind of a shocker for some. At least the timing was a little different. But like James mentioned, whenever this dead period ends, and they're able to be there in contact and be at facilities, it's going to change a lot of the game. And, of course, Florida State is on a roll, or was on a roll. Things are going to change all over the place in the country. So and it's going to be a very fun recruiting period to cover the next 3 months.